Welcome to the conversation on TOS TV Network. Today is Thursday, 10th of June, 2021, and the week is finally almost wrapping up. My name is Adesuwasi.
And my name is Merciful Ajinomo. Good morning, Nigeria. Good morning, Africa. And good morning to you, Adesua.
Good morning, Merciful.
How are you?
I'm very well, thank you.
Did you say 10th of June already?
Yes, it's 10th. It was just 1st of June the other day.
It's like the month is just running like this. Am I okay?
Exactly.
Okay, how you doing?
I'm very well, thank you.
Sharp as always.
Okay. Thank you very much. Okay, with that, we'll bring you the quote of the day. And of course, after that, it'll be time to bring you stories and developments from across Africa.
At the first sign of pain, you need a solution that you can trust to provide effective relief and is gentle on the stomach. Try Panadol Caplets for relief from headaches, body aches, and fever. With Panadol's Optizorb formula, the tablet gently breaks down in the stomach, quickly absorbs, and starts providing pain relief in 15 minutes. For fast and effective pain relief that you can trust, try Panadol Caplets. This has been Medifact for Panadol.
Welcome back. It's about that time where we'll bring you stories and developments from across the African continent. And we'll be starting from Somalia, where, 61 Al-Shabaab fighters were killed in a blast. And no fewer than 61 Al-Shabaab militants and foreign nationals were reportedly killed in an explosion at a village in southern Somalia. The blast went off inside a house at Alafuto village, 285 kilometers from the capital, Mogadishu.
I'll move over to Nigeria, where the judiciary workers have called off their strike. And the Judicial Staff Union of Nigeria, that's JUSUN, has called off its nationwide industrial action. The decision was made after a meeting with JUSUN executives and the National Judicial Council, presided by the Chief Justice of Nigeria, CJN, Justice Ibrahim Muhammad. This is the long-awaited action we have been waiting for.
I mean, it was just yesterday that the Minister of Labour, Chris, threatened them with no work,
no pay.
If you don't call off the strike immediately,
I wonder what this message is passing. Like, it means people who are going on strike, they have to be very careful, know what they want, know when to call off the strike.
Exactly, because there's also the clause in the Constitution that says if you don't work, you don't get paid. So in as much as you're fighting for whatever right of whatever association you're fighting for, there's
it's more like a sacrifice
you're not working,
on your path.
You're not working for the time, so there's a possibility that, well, you didn't work, so we
and then they've stayed at home for a long time.
Yes,
a long time.
I just hope they came to some sort of,
agreement.
Agreement with the government. All right, moving to Senegal. So this is good news for Africa. Manufacturing of COVID-19 vaccines to begin in Senegal next year. That's because Senegal has secured the patent right to manufacture COVID-19 vaccines in mid-2022. This move is aimed at boosting Africa's drug manufacturing ambitions and vaccinating the continent's populace against the virus. Quite an impressive move. I think it was Egypt that got the patent to start producing.
And
now
that's
Senegal
so
is also going to be producing.
So gradually we're hopeful that at some point, we used to say 2021 before the year comes to an end, but then we're saying, okay, 2022 is still fine. Let's just make sure that we're being safe and no one is dying.
Exactly. And talking about COVID-19, we're going to go on a break to bring you COVID-19 updates from across Africa. And after that, it'll be time to bring you newspaper headlines for today.
North to South Africa, East to West Africa, TOS TV Network is your digital-first Pan-African news network, bringing you news from across the continent. Visit our website www.TOSTVNetwork.com.
Welcome back to The Conversation, showing on your digital first Pan-African news network, TOS Television. It's that time where we'll bring you headlines from across some of the national dailies for this morning. But before we proceed, remember I always tell you, you can be a part of our social media community by following us across all our social media platforms that is displayed on your screen. You can also live stream our program on your website, on our website, www.TOSTVNetwork.com. And also, if you've not subscribed to our YouTube page, please do so you do not miss out on our amazing content. It's The Conversation, and we'll begin with Blueprint this morning on the newspaper headline segment of the show. The very gaping, obvious headline there is, "I'm ready to die in the hands of kidnappers," coming from the governor of Kaduna State, El-Rufai, his wife. The writers under that story says paying ransom is like adding kerosene to fire, and abductors demand 10 million naira for Unijust lecturers' freedom. And that particular story can be found on page 6 of the Blueprint newspaper. We see a headline just on top of the headline there, the major banner headline there. We see register to operate in Nigeria, pay tax. That's federal government telling Twitter. And that can be found on page 6 as well. Just get yourself a copy of the Blueprint newspaper and read out on all of the stories that's displayed on your screen.
I'm moving to the Daily Trust newspaper this morning. The first headline there says 500 killed, 201 kidnapped in my constituency. That's coming from a Kebbi State representative. FEC approves 895.5 billion naira supplementary budget for military COVID-19. Biafra Oduduwa agitators are idiots. That's coming from former President of Nigeria, Olusegun Obasanjo. So the banner headline on the Daily Trust newspaper this morning: federal government, Twitter, Facebook, others must get license from NBC. 4 riders under that one. Says registration with CAC mandatory. Despite making billions, Twitter pays no tax. They've contacted us for dialogue. That's coming from Lai Mohammed. Trump urges other countries to emulate Nigeria. Other story you can found on page 5 of the Daily Trust newspaper. You can get yourself a copy of the paper to read up on that and other stories inside.
And we're moving over to Nigerian News Direct newspaper. The banner headline, they're talking about March update. Federal government, 36 state FCT debt hit 33.11 trillion naira. That's coming from DMO. And the writer says domestic debt service gulped 612.7 billion naira in first quarter. Now can be found on page 2 of the News Direct. And just the headline, just underneath the pictures of the day there, we see refinery project on course for completion in December. That's coming from Dangote Group. Zulum unveils 2 schools, health center, starts 300 houses. And talking about NIPC PS of 2021, Chevron MD highlights opportunities, new approaches to the future of hydrocarbons. That can be found on page 16 of the Nigerian News Direct.
And the last newspaper we're going to be looking at this morning is the Business Day newspaper. The banner headline there says, worst insecurity in 10 years gives broke Nigeria a new headache. Beside that one, Mita Falabi, founder of Green Africa, Nigeria's cheapest carrier. And inside the Business Day newspaper on page 2, Twitter ban, investors may demand higher yields for Nigeria's Eurobond. All of those stories you can read up inside the Business Day newspaper this morning. And
that's the most you can take on the newspaper headline segment of the show for this morning. Please stay tuned. We'll be going on a short break now. When we return, we'll be taking you through what's trending on social media.
Always remember,
this man I have creative design. We really like it, but
you deserve a break. You can indulge in a cup of 3-in-1 Cadbury Hot Chocolate. Cadbury Hot Chocolate. Indulge. Now available in the 450 grams pouch.
Thank you for staying tuned to the conversation. It's about that time where I bring you what is trending on social media. And Lagos State, the hashtag Lagos has been trending on social media in the last 24 hours following the spate of robberies on a Kobe bridge. And then it's been said that the state government isn't doing anything or saying anything about it, or, daylight robbery and all of that stuff on a Kobe bridge. And then Lagosians, Nigerians are beginning to react to it. And then they took it to social media, just talk about it. And I'm going to read out, a few to that regards for you. The first is from Wale Adetona. So the Lagos state government cannot send army to a Kobe bridge like they did to Lekki, or they mean to say they are not aware of the everyday robbery reports on that route. At Mr. Macaroni says, daylight robbery is so rampant now in Lagos, but the Lagos state government is busy doing billboard adverts. No surprises here. The same government stood by while peaceful protesters were being brutalized and dehumanized. So much for improving lives. And then this is from Damola of Lagos. Isn't it funny that people tweet about the robberies on a Kobe bridge on a daily basis, but the entire security apparatus in Lagos State can't do anything about it? That's just one location. If Sanwo-Olu can't secure one known location, how will he secure the entire Lagos? And then the last tweet is from at Uloma. She says, Sanwo-Olu has reacted to people's concerns about the security situation in Lagos. He said you people should wind up your car windows and stop pressing your phones on the road to avoid being robbed. I honestly wish I was joking. Master, what do you think about this last tweet?
Wow. See, the thing with all of this here is just we see Nigerians asking for that care from the government.
Yes, just show that you're concerned.
Show that you're concerned.
Yeah.
Show that you value the citizens' life and property.
Exactly.
That's what they're asking for. Because it's, from what they have said, it's a known location where we keep seeing armed robberies, robbery attacks and
even
people
in broad daylight.
In broad daylight.
Yes.
And according to that tweet, we had a protest there some months ago, and we saw the influx of soldiers, army people, military men, and they are saying, if you can come for innocent Nigerians that are not even, they do not have weapons. Now people who you're supposed to even, safety of life property is important, is the priority.
Yes.
That's what they're asking for. And definitely that's what they're saying.
Yes.
Nothing is being said, do you want to wait for 48 hours before you do something? That's not how it's supposed to work. Do you understand?
I totally get you. And I totally get, the last tweet saying that they said you should wind up your windows and stop pressing your phone. As sarcastic as
being
that.
vigilant.
Exactly. Being
what
vigilant
is
very important. That's you playing your part. Be vigilant and just be very aware. But there's only so much the citizens can do. So you're doing your part, being vigilant and, surveillance and all that stuff. But the government has the larger part to play, right? You are at the helm of affairs in that state. You have your access to resources and intelligence that the regular citizens don't have. Then it's at your disposal to actually do something. You can actually do something. You have the resources to do something, and take care of that situation. Then just do it. So we all play our part, right? The citizens played their part, and then the government played their part.
It's really funny how we have been Nigerian people have always been asking for people to come and address issues every time they're happening. From the presidency to the state government. They are always asking, say something about this, do something about this. That's what people are asking for. Exactly. And it's not really a big deal, because we are electing people into positions to stand and represent people. So if things are happening, things are jeopardizing our livelihood, things are affecting our lives, our properties, you should always come out, even if you're not going to do something, but show that concern. That's what Nigerians are asking for. No, and it's not too much if you're asking.
It is not too much. It is not too much. Asking for improved life, improved lifestyle, it's not too much. Asking for your government to care, your leaders to care, is not too much. I just hope we get to that stage in Nigeria. In Africa, basically we just have leaders who are more concerned about, the plight of the people than, maybe personal stuff. That's my personal take on this one.
I agree with you.
All right, that's it for what's trending on social media today. We'll go on a break now, and when we come back, we'll be coming back with the crux of the conversation, and that is the big story.
You won't go shake your body, instead they make it calm down. Eat a farm say sabi. You want to grow 6 packs in a day. I beg you not to pass it.
your size. Find it with the new Airtel data plans. Dial *141# now to get the plan that suits you. Airtel, the smartphone network.
A big thank you for staying tuned to the conversation showing on your digital first Pan-African news network, TOS Television. It is the big story, the crux of the conversation. Before we proceed, have you followed us across all our social media platforms? If you've not done so, do so now. It's displayed on your screen just now. And if you have not subscribed on our YouTube page, please do so you do not miss out on all our amazing content. And your contributions are needed, your opinions. Please share them, and we'll be happy to have them. It is the big story, and this morning we're talking about insecurity. Can Nigeria afford another civil war? And we focus on the growing trend of insecurity and communal violence in Nigeria, how it is linked to strengthening separatist movement across the country. And this morning, we are talking with Adeni Ikunu, a social affairs commentator. You're welcome to the show, Mr. Adeni.
Yeah, thank you very much. And I say good morning to everybody.
Good morning to you.
Good morning.
The big question here is, are we on the brink of another civil war?
Most definitely, yes. I'm not a man to mince words when I say the signs, but we can avert it if the people who have the task of leadership are very, very careful. Let me give you a picture. When the U.S. went to war with Vietnam, the United States of America thought in all of our might she was going to just outwit Vietnam. But the U.S. as a country, although committed war crimes in Vietnam, also suffered irreparable losses. The war that Nigeria fought between 67 to 70 is a war different from the kind of war that the country is battling against. And it would be very foolish of anybody to think that because the army, the police, and all other security forces have some ammunition and they are the nation's legal security forces, they can just deal with everybody. I think people should perish that thought. The reason I'm saying this is very clear. We have not been able to overcome Boko Haram since 2009. And Boko Haram started because many people perhaps did not manage a lot of crisis work. Do not forget that part of what resulted in Boko Haram is a lot of injustice, where the political class, beginning from an area like Borno, have abandoned a lot of people for a long time, such that those who should get education, those who should get all of the necessary things were not given attention. So it's got to a point where they now started finding solace in religious teachings. Later, they started finding solace in some kind of extreme religious teachings. Before you know what is happening, it became what it is at the moment, and they start collaborating with all of that nefarious elements in different parts of the world. Injustice is also at the root of what is happening in the different places where you have agitations. And I tell you one thing, I believe that every leader should really be very introspective, especially those people that saw the first war and they think that they have seen everything. We need to ask them, have they seen Boko Haram before? They have not seen Boko Haram. Have they been able to defeat Boko Haram? It is a lie. So if the country cannot defeat Boko Haram that has been troubling us officially for the past 10, 11 years, it then would be very foolish of any leader amongst those who perhaps saw the first war to believe that a second war can be fought for one. And this is where I keep telling people that the dynamics of society, the dynamics of everything as we speak has completely changed. And because lots of dynamics have changed, the people who are in government must be very scientific in the respective approach they give to things, or else it's going to be a lot of problems. So I say here with no equivocation that this country is on the brink of war if we don't manage all this crisis well. And I tell you, that is what we don't want.
You're saying that's what we don't want. Does that mean we cannot afford to see another civil war?
We can't afford another one. My brother, we cannot, my sister, afford to go into another one. Let me tell you this. There are lots of reasons why we cannot. As we speak, the nation's debt has hit 33.1 trillion. That is financial problem. Across the country, there are lots of infrastructure problems. That's another issue. We have youth unemployment in excess of 30% of the nation's over 200 million population. That is a problem. So if you already have these problems lined up across the nation, it is not something about maybe agitations in the southeast against the people in power or the north. It is the fact that the youth demographic of this country, and let me tell you where many leaders, political leaders in the north also get it wrong. They think that those northern youths that are supporting them, they are happy. They are the ones that are most at risk because the people, particularly the youth of the north, are usually very uncontrollable once their anger gets to an African, and they unleash this annoyance on their political class. So let them not feel happy that whatever it is that happened, the northern youth will support what they are doing. The northern youth will not. Youth are youth everywhere. Every youth wants to work. Every youth wants to have a life. Every youth wants you to promise and fulfill it. Forget about their level of education or exposure. So I think the best thing that this government can do is to be deliberate in their approach to the things that they are doing. So it's very, very key as we speak for them to do one thing, which is to engage with these youth agitators. Let me tell you the picture. This is the picture. Some of the youths that are crying and fighting in the southeast, their parents died in the war. Some of them, their parents died in the war. Some women are still alive today whose husbands died. Some husbands are alive whose wives died. Let me tell you, I had a man who lived in a particular place that I once occupied. He lost all the wife and children that he had during the war. He started afresh and was only able to have a child. He had about 5 or 6 before the war. He lost the wife and all the children. So people like that will not be listening to this kind of conversation because they feel that the injustices done to them, then I'm telling you, everybody lost the war, but let's be realistic. The people of the Southeast suffered the most during the war. Let us not deceive ourselves because the federal troops happen to be superior in terms of firepower. So the only thing we have to do is to see how we can mend these fences. And let me tell you, the weapon of war and the approach to war has changed. Let nobody in Abuja deceive himself that they will just go somewhere and kill people. Apart from maybe firepower, we didn't have the International Criminal Court before. If you commit war crime, you will go to jail. Don't forget, Slobodan Milosevic went to jail. So if you like, be a former army man, a former army general officer, if you commit genocide, you will end up rotting in jail. Omar al-Bashir of Sudan, if they told him that they will ever be able to get him out of power, they thought he could have 30 years. If eventually, where is he now? Omar al-Bashir is in that. So let me just tell us the reality. The political class, every one of them is sitting on a keg of gunpowder. And when the explosion happens, they will be the first to be consumed by the explosion and some other innocent people. So the best thing now, what are the issues that all the youths across the country, not only the Southeast, are agitating? What are the things that the elders, the Northern Elders Forum, the South and Middle Belt Forum, the Afenifere group, what are the things that this group are asking for? One of the things they're asking for, let's have a national conference and talk. They don't want to talk. They are amending the constitution. They say this constitution doesn't guarantee what. Can we talk? Who is afraid of talking? That is the problem. The next thing talked about was it is not possible to amend the constitution, that there is no provision made to amend the constitution. And when the lawmakers said it, I asked themselves, you people are the lawmakers. You can immediately convene and raise an issue or sponsor what will make it possible to particularly prepare a new constitution or to hold a national conference. Everybody is trying to play the ostrich. But when the explosion happened, it will affect every one of us. Africa, we are the most populous black nation. There is no country that can accommodate people that become refugees in this country. Let's just tell ourselves the truth. So the earlier we resolve this matter, and everybody who is in Abuja is humble enough to say that, oh boy, because let me tell you the truth. One of the things that the US and all those countries have already decided to do Immediately there's problem in this country. All those people that think that their children and wives will run away, they will be here with us. We will not allow them enter. And if you think you can go to any other country of the world to hide, immediately the US, the UK, or the G7 tells those countries, we are going to sever ties with you. They will drop you people back to your country. So the problem you started, you will come and chop out of it. So let us just tell ourselves, we don't need war, but we are approaching it as if we want war. And let me tell you, nobody has the monopoly of violence. If this thing happens, it will consume everybody. So let the people within the political class just, for instance, let me tell you the reality. For the past couple of days, in the first place, the only way for youth in this country to manage their anger, you took Twitter away from them. Now you are giving them another room to start thinking as if they want to become explosive. Twitter is where many of these generations know how to vent. You took Twitter from them because you felt they brought down your tweets. In the first place, if they can bring down or ban the president of the US, the country that is strongest in the world, if we know that Twitter, of course, has its excesses, and at times they don't do things right. But now you are not taking took Twitter from people, whereas the people that took Twitter from Nigerians, they are still using VPN to operate their Twitter handle. Just don't let me start calling their names. Many of them are still on Twitter, as I'm speaking with you this morning. That is one. The second thing they are doing, the only way to even gauge what the plans and annoyance of the youth are, that is Twitter. You took it out. So as we speak, government doesn't even know where to, government cannot even read anything about what they are planning, read anything about their anger, read anything about their approach. So in not being scientific, you have deprived yourself of an opportunity to know the mindset of the youth and their agitation. And this is talking about the. So what I'm saying is, let the people who are doing this, they have, for instance now, how can you say very quiet since this Twitter ban? The only house that has been active in having this conversation, although it is difficult, is the House of Rep. And I keep saying it that the Ahmad Lawan-led Senate is a stooge of an extension of the executive arm, because it's a situation where the House that heads the legislation in this country cannot speak to the most important issue after. We are on the brink of a war, but we can avoid this war if we mitigate it by taking the right steps and being sincere, or else we're not going to enjoy ourselves. Nobody needs war, please. Nobody needs war. I tell you.
Okay. Thank you so much, Mr. Adeni, for joining us on the show this morning. Thank you.
I'm grateful for inviting me. Thank you very much. Thank you.
And thank you for watching the conversation this morning. Do not forget that the conversation comes back to you tomorrow. But before then, drop comments, observation across our social media platform. That's TOS TV Network across all social media platforms, Facebook, Instagram, and I hope I can still say Twitter. And of course, subscribe to TOS TV Network on YouTube. And you can stream the conversation and other programs on www.tostvnetwork.com. My name is Adesua Osui.
And my name is Master Folajunimo. Thank you so much for watching. Have an amazing day.